What if the NFL's most hyped rookie wasn't drafted to start, but to take over? That's the question surrounding Shedeur Sanders, a name that has electrified football conversations everywhere. Forget the round he was picked in. Forget the analysts who claimed he'd need years on the bench. The truth is, Sanders is stepping into the league under a spotlight so bright, it could either launch him into superstardom or burn him out before he ever gets going. And here's the crazy part. No other rookie in football carries this kind of weight before even throwing a single NFL touchdown. From the moment his name was called, Sanders wasn't just joining the Cleveland Browns, he was inheriting one of the NFL's most complicated legacies. This isn't just about becoming a quarterback. This is about becoming the quarterback for a franchise that has seen more broken promises and more failed experiments at the position than fans can count. And yet, somehow, Sanders has already been positioned as the face of hope, the chosen one, the player who might finally break the cycle. That's not the kind of pressure most rookies feel. That's a burden that even seasoned veterans would hesitate to carry. But here's where things get even more interesting. Shedeur isn't walking into the NFL as an unknown. He's arriving with millions of eyes already fixed on him, thanks in large part to his father Deion Coach Prime Sanders. That family name carries power, influence, and expectations that stretch far beyond the football field. For some fans, it's the ultimate stamp of approval. Greatness runs in the bloodline. For others, it's ammunition to call him overhyped, undeserving, or even a distraction. Either way, every move Shedeur makes on and off the field is going to be dissected like no rookie before him. And it's not just the fans. Inside the league, insiders are buzzing with speculation. Did Cleveland draft him simply to develop quietly behind the starter, or did they secretly see him as the spark to change their entire trajectory? Because, let's be real, this isn't just another rookie quarterback joining a mid-market team. This is a young man stepping into one of the most unstable quarterback situations in all of football. And in a city starving for stability, the expectations are enormous. Now, imagine this. You're 22 years old, you've never played an NFL snap, and yet the narrative around you isn't about patience, growth, or learning the ropes. It's about whether you're ready to take over right now. That's the world Shedeur Sanders is walking into. For some, it feels like a setup for failure. For others, it feels like the perfect storm for a breakout story that could shock the entire league. But here's the twist. Shedeur's journey isn't just about football. It's about legacy, family, reputation, and a level of pressure that could make or break him before he even gets comfortable in an NFL uniform. And if you think that's dramatic, just wait. Because the story of his rookie season is about to unfold like nothing we've seen in years. The weight of expectations isn't new in the NFL, but for Shedeur Sanders, it feels heavier than ever before. Most rookies enter the league with a grace period. They're allowed to learn the system, get comfortable in practice, and slowly earn the trust of coaches and teammates. But for Shedeur, there is no such luxury. From the second his name was called on draft night, the spotlight locked in on him, and every headline, every soundbite, every social media clip has built the narrative that he isn't just here to compete, he's here to take over. And that expectation isn't coming out of nowhere. Shedeur's rise has been anything but quiet. From high school stardom to his time under Coach Prime at Colorado, he's been in the public eye every step of the way. Fans have watched him grow, celebrated his highlights, and dissected every mistake along the way. By the time he declared for the draft, Sanders wasn't just another college quarterback, he was a walking storyline, a player people either passionately believed in or doubted with equal intensity. That kind of split opinion creates one thing: pressure. But the real kicker? He wasn't even drafted in the first round. Normally, when a quarterback slips into the later rounds, it lowers expectations. Analysts say, well, he'll be a project, or he'll have time to sit and develop. But Shedeur has flipped that script completely. Despite being taken later than many expected, his fanbase and even his critics are treating him like a top pick. It's a bizarre dynamic, a fifth-rounder with first-round pressure. That doesn't happen in today's NFL, and it speaks volumes about how unique his situation is. And then there's the family name. Being the son of Deion, Coach Prime Sanders comes with benefits, sure. Instant credibility, built-in fan support, endless media coverage, but it also adds an invisible target to his back. Every mistake will be amplified, every interception replayed 100 times, every sideline reaction analyzed as if it's proof of whether he's destined for greatness or failure. In many ways, Shedeur isn't just carrying his own career, he's carrying the Sanders legacy into the NFL spotlight. And for as much as fans admire the Sanders name, the critics are equally eager to see him stumble. It's this combination of hype and doubt that makes Shedeur's rookie season feel so dramatic before it even begins. On one hand, he's got millions of fans expecting him to prove the doubters wrong and take over the Browns' offense sooner rather than later. On the other hand, he's got an army of skeptics just waiting for the first sign of weakness to say, "See, we told you he wasn't ready." For Shedeur Sanders, the weight of expectations isn't about one game or one season. It's about whether he can rise above the noise and show that he belongs in the league on his own terms. And the deeper you look, the more you realize this pressure is exactly what could make or break him in Cleveland. When you think about cursed positions in sports, none stands out more than the quarterback role for the Cleveland Browns. For decades, the franchise has been a revolving door of signal callers, each one arriving with hope and leaving with disappointment. Since the Browns returned to the NFL in 1999, the team has started over 30 different quarterbacks. That's more than some franchises have had in their entire history. For Cleveland fans, the position has become less of a solution and more of a nightmare. Names like Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy, Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel, and countless others are burned into the memories of Browns fans not because they became legends, but because they represent another failed attempt at stability. Each new quarterback was presented as the answer. Each one was hyped as the guy who would finally turn things around. And each one left behind the same story: unfulfilled potential, unmet expectations, and a fan base left shaking its head. The quarterback curse isn't just a nickname, it's a reality that Cleveland has struggled to escape for over 2 decades. The team has invested draft picks, free agent money, and endless patience into finding that leader under center, and yet the results have rarely matched the hype. For fans, hope has almost become a dangerous thing. Every new quarterback is met with a mixture of excitement and dread. Excitement for what could finally be a turning point, and dread that history will simply repeat itself. Now enter Shedeur Sanders. On paper, he looks like just another name being added to the list, another quarterback in a long line of supposed saviors. But in reality, his situation feels different. And that difference comes down to 2 things: timing and attention. First, the timing. The Browns have been searching for consistency at quarterback for so long that fans are desperate for someone to believe in. The arrival of Shedeur coincides with a roster that already has talent at other positions. This isn't a rebuild from scratch, it's a team that could be competitive if it finds the right leader. That makes his presence far more impactful than some of his predecessors. Second, the attention. Unlike past rookies who were thrown into the fire with little fanfare, Shedeur comes with one of the largest spotlights in recent memory. Millions of fans are already watching, waiting to see if he can break the curse that has haunted Cleveland for decades. That kind of attention can be a double-edged sword. On one side, it creates massive pressure. On the other, it gives Shedeur the kind of platform that, if he succeeds, could instantly cement him as a franchise hero. For the Browns, the quarterback curse has been a story of broken promises and shattered dreams. For Shedeur Sanders, it's an opportunity. He's not just playing for himself, he's stepping into one of the most snake-bitten positions in football with a chance to rewrite history. And if he manages to do what so many before him could not, he won't just be remembered as another rookie quarterback. He'll be remembered as the man who finally broke the curse. For most rookies, the NFL is a place to quietly adjust, learn the playbook, and find a rhythm before the cameras turn their way. But for Shedeur Sanders, there is no such adjustment period. The spotlight has been on him since before he even stepped foot into Cleveland's facility, and it's only grown brighter with every passing day. Every practice throw, every preseason snap, even the way he carries himself on the sideline is dissected by analysts, fans, and social media. In an era where clips can go viral in seconds, Shedeur isn't just playing football, he's performing under a microscope. The pressure comes in waves. First, there's the fan base. Browns supporters are some of the most loyal, passionate, and long-suffering fans in the NFL. They're starving for a quarterback they can finally rally behind, and many have already placed that hope squarely on Shedeur's shoulders. That kind of belief can be powerful, but it can also be overwhelming, because when the expectations are sky high, even the smallest misstep can trigger a backlash. One off-target throw in practice can spark rumors. One bad quarter in a preseason game can fuel doubt. And for a rookie, that means there's no room for growing pains. Then there's the media. The moment Shedeur declared for the draft, his name became a headline magnet, not just because of his college career, but because of who his father is. Being Deion Sanders' son means there's no anonymity, no chance to fly under the radar. Reporters don't just want to cover his stats, they want to cover the narrative, the legacy, the drama. Every time he speaks in front of a microphone, his words are replayed, analyzed, and spun into stories that reach millions. For most players, press conferences are routine. For Shedeur, they're national events. And the social media machine makes it even more intense. Fans clip every highlight and circulate it with captions calling him the future. Critics latch onto every mistake and use it as proof that he's overrated. Entire debates play out online before he's even had a chance to prove himself on the field. That constant back and forth creates a pressure cooker environment where Shedeur's rookie year feels less like a learning experience and more like a test of survival under scrutiny. But here's the twist. Shedeur isn't shying away from it. If anything, he seems to thrive in the chaos. Throughout his college career, he played in front of sold-out crowds, with cameras documenting his every move thanks to Coach Prime's larger-than-life presence. In some ways, this spotlight isn't new, it's just bigger, louder, and far less forgiving at the professional level. The question isn't whether he can handle the attention. The real question is whether he can rise above the noise and prove that his game matches the hype. Because the truth is, the spotlight doesn't just expose weaknesses, it amplifies greatness. If Shedeur can shine when every eye is on him, he won't just be another rookie quarterback fighting for snaps. He'll be the story of the season, the player who turned pressure into performance. And if that happens, the spotlight that once felt like a burden could become the very thing that makes him unforgettable. Every rising star in sports carries a mix of praise and criticism, but few rookies have sparked as much controversy as Shedeur Sanders. Before he even threw a pass in the NFL, debates erupted across sports talk shows, podcasts, and fan forums. Was he drafted because of his talent or because of his last name? Is he genuinely ready to compete at the highest level, or is he being fast-tracked because of the attention he brings? These aren't ordinary rookie questions, these are controversies that have turned Shedeur into one of the most talked-about players in the league. One of the biggest talking points centers around the draft itself. Falling to the later rounds created a split reaction. Some analysts argued it was proof that NFL teams weren't sold on his abilities, while others claimed it was a massive oversight, with Cleveland potentially landing a hidden gem. The narrative only intensified when fans began questioning whether he'd be handed opportunities other rookies might not get, purely because of his star power. That kind of speculation creates tension not just in the media, but potentially in the locker room. Veterans don't always appreciate when hype overshadows experience. Then there's the Coach Prime factor. Deion Sanders has been one of the loudest voices in sports media for years, and his presence adds a layer of controversy to everything Shedeur does. Supporters say having a father with that much football knowledge is an advantage few players could dream of. Critics argue it creates unfair advantages and distractions, suggesting that Shedeur will forever be treated differently because of his last name. Whether that's true or not almost doesn't matter, the perception alone fuels endless debate. On top of that, rumors swirl about potential tension with the Browns' coaching staff. Reports have suggested that fans, and even some within the organization, may push for Shedeur to get more snaps than expected. If the starter struggles, pressure will mount quickly to see what the rookie can do. That could force head coach Kevin Stefanski into a no-win situation, stick with the proven plan, or bend under the weight of hype and hand the reins to Sanders earlier than intended. Either choice carries controversy. And let's not ignore the critics who argue that Shedeur is overrated. Some point to his college stats and claim they don't prove he's NFL ready. Others dismiss him as a media creation, built more on headlines and social media buzz than actual performance. These critics are waiting for mistakes, almost rooting for them so they can say, "I told you so." That dynamic makes his every move feel like it comes with double the stakes, succeed and he silences the doubters. Stumble, and he fuels their arguments. But controversy isn't always a bad thing. In today's NFL, being talked about non-stop can be just as powerful as racking up stats. Shedeur's name is already everywhere, and that attention means his rookie season will matter far beyond Cleveland. For better or worse, he's not just another quarterback, he's a lightning rod for conversation, a player who turns every snap into a headline. And in a league where relevance is everything, that controversy might be his greatest weapon. For all the weight, pressure, and controversy surrounding Shedeur Sanders, there's another side to the story: opportunity. Because while many critics are focused on the risks of drafting him, the reality is that Cleveland might actually be one of the best landing spots he could have asked for. The Browns aren't a team starting from scratch. They've built a competitive roster with pieces that could give a young quarterback the tools he needs to succeed if he can seize the moment. Let's start with talent. Unlike some franchises that draft rookie quarterbacks only to throw them behind weak offensive lines and unproven weapons, Cleveland has assembled playmakers across the field. The running game, even if transitioning after injuries, remains a foundation that can take pressure off a developing passer. Add in a receiving core with speed and versatility, and suddenly Shedeur steps into a system where he doesn't have to be a superhero on every snap. He just needs to distribute the ball and trust the weapons around him. That kind of support is exactly what most rookie quarterbacks lack. Timing also plays a huge role. The Browns' current starter has the experience and resume to hold the top spot for now, but that doesn't mean the door is closed. NFL seasons are unpredictable. Injuries, slumps, and coaching decisions can shift the depth chart overnight. If the offense struggles, fans and media will call louder and louder for Sanders to get his chance. And if that chance comes, the conditions around him make it possible for him to succeed much faster than anyone expects. There's also the cultural moment. Few rookies walk into the league with the fanfare Shedeur carries. His name trends after practices, clips of his throws go viral within minutes, and merchandise with his number sells out before he's even played a real game. That kind of visibility isn't just hype, it's influence. If he delivers when his opportunity comes, the Browns won't just have a quarterback, they'll have a franchise icon. In a league where branding and identity matter almost as much as wins, Shedeur could reshape how people view Cleveland football. The opportunity extends beyond the field as well. If he earns respect in the locker room, showing teammates that he's more than the coach's kid or a media creation, he can establish himself as a leader early. Winning over veterans is often the hardest step for a young quarterback, but if Shedeur brings the same poise and work ethic he showed in college, that trust could follow naturally. And once the locker room is behind him, everything else becomes easier. Of course, opportunity doesn't guarantee success. The NFL is brutal and the margin for error is slim, but few rookies get to enter the league with as much potential upside as Shedeur Sanders has in Cleveland. For years, the Browns' quarterback spot has been a curse. Now, it might be his launching pad. All it takes is one opening, one stretch of games, and Shedeur Sanders could turn the doubters' noise into cheers and the Browns' instability into a new era of hope. It's one thing to be a promising rookie. It's another to walk into the NFL as a cultural phenomenon. That's exactly what Shedeur Sanders has done. His arrival in Cleveland has sparked something far bigger than football. It's ignited a frenzy that stretches from diehard Browns fans to casual observers who just want to be part of the hype. For many, Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's an event, a story, a brand, all by himself. The evidence is everywhere. Before he's even taken a meaningful NFL snap, his jersey is already one of the hottest sellers in team shops. Giveaways tied to his number create massive buzz online, and social media is flooded with clips of fans repping Browns gear with his name on the back. In a city that's been starving for a star to believe in, Sanders has provided something rare: excitement before the results. Fans aren't waiting to see if he becomes great, they're already celebrating what he represents. Part of this is because of his family name. Being the son of Deion Coach Prime Sanders instantly gave Shedeur visibility that few rookies could dream of. But what's fascinating is how he's built his own following separate from his father's. Through college, his social media presence, and the confidence he carries, Shedeur has cultivated a younger, digital-first fanbase that consumes highlights, reposts, interviews, and debates his potential on platforms like TikTok and Twitter. He's not just a Browns player, he's a trending topic. This cultural pull has ripple effects for the NFL as well. The league thrives on personalities that go beyond the field, players who bring attention from audiences that don't normally tune in. Shedeur fits perfectly into that mold. He's part athlete, part influencer, and part celebrity. For Cleveland, a franchise not often in the national spotlight, having someone with that kind of reach suddenly makes them relevant in a way that wins and losses alone can't. Of course, with that frenzy comes polarization. Some fans rally behind him as the future, while others roll their eyes at what they see as over-the-top hype. But even the criticism fuels the conversation, because in today's sports culture, attention is everything. Love him or doubt him, people are still talking about him. And that's exactly what keeps the Browns in headlines, keeps Shedeur in the spotlight, and keeps his rookie season feeling like more than just football. It feels like a cultural moment. For the fans, the impact is personal. Cleveland has long been defined by heartbreak, from losing seasons to quarterback busts. Shedeur represents a break in that cycle, a fresh start they can rally around. Every viral clip, every jersey in the stands, every shout of his name is more than just support, it's hope. And for a city that has waited so long for a reason to believe, that hope is priceless. Shedeur Sanders isn't just chasing wins, he's carrying a fan movement, shaping a cultural wave and giving the Browns something they've lacked for decades, relevance that resonates far beyond the football field. The story of Shedeur Sanders in the NFL is still being written, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Unlike other rookies, whose paths feel predictable, sit for a year, learn the system, maybe get a chance down the line, Shedeur's journey feels like it could take a sharp turn at any moment. Every practice, every snap, every sideline interaction has the potential to shape how his rookie year is remembered. And in Cleveland, a city where quarterback dreams often turn to dust, that sense of uncertainty makes his story even more gripping. On one side, the future looks dazzling. Shedeur has the name, the confidence, the support of a passionate fan base, and the spotlight that could elevate him into instant stardom if he delivers. The Browns have the talent around him to give him a real shot at success, and the cultural wave he's riding could cement him as not just a quarterback, but a brand that defines a new era of Cleveland football. If he thrives, he won't just silence the doubters, he'll become the kind of figure who rewrites the franchise's identity. But on the other side lies the danger. The hype is overwhelming, the pressure suffocating, and the controversy relentless. One bad game could spiral into endless criticism. One prolonged slump could see the fan frenzy turn into frustration. And the fact that so many already view him through the lens of his last name means he has less margin for error than almost any rookie in the league. For Shedeur, there's no middle ground. He'll either rise as a hero or be labeled a disappointment. That's why his rookie season feels less like a standard NFL storyline and more like a drama unfolding in real time. Every development will be broadcast, debated, and magnified. For fans, that means they're not just watching games, they're watching history, waiting to see whether Shedeur will become the savior Cleveland has been searching for, or the latest name added to a long list of quarterbacks who couldn't carry the weight. But maybe that's exactly what makes this moment so special. The outcome isn't written, the ending isn't obvious. Shedeur Sanders has the rare chance to control a narrative that's bigger than himself, bigger than the Browns, and maybe even bigger than football. He stands at the crossroads of legacy and opportunity, carrying the hopes of a franchise, the expectations of millions, and the shadow of his family name. So what happens next? Will Shedeur Sanders rise to the challenge and become the face of a new era in Cleveland? Or will the pressure of the spotlight prove too much? That's the beauty of an unwritten story we don't know. All we know is that whatever happens, his journey won't be forgotten. Because love him or doubt him, one thing's certain. Shedeur Sanders has already made the NFL world stop, watch, and wonder what comes next. If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.